Linda Goggin, but you can call me Sunny. And what I would like to speak to you about is how you can keep your brain long term. So I've been using something called the ReCODE Protocol with my clients, and this is based on a protocol created by Dr. Bredesen. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about it if you're interested in keeping your memory, keeping your brain long term. And I have to say that of all the things that we can take care of, our brain's the most important because it creates our reality. And whether or not you're engaged in the world is dependent upon your brain function. And I'm creating programs, protocols that you can actually access. I'm trying to make it so everybody can access these. And right now, currently, with Black Friday, the price of admission to access all of my courses, including this brain course, is to be a preferred customer using the phototherapy patches that I talk about a lot on my channel. So you can find them, and there's a link below where you can find the phototherapy patches. But that is the price of admission. And the reason I've paired all my functional medicine, preventive medicine, holistic healing with the LifeWave patches is because people get better faster. And that's what I want for you, to get better faster. So let's go ahead and talk about an overview of the ReCODE protocol and how you can implement these powerful interventions into your life. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up some slides. So as I mentioned, this is coming from a book called The End of Alzheimer's. And we want to achieve optimal brain health and start as early as possible. I really got rolling in my 50s. Golly, I wish I knew about these things when I was younger, because it would have given me more resilience. It would have given me more reserve. And if we can build up reserve, our brains are going to last longer. Okay, so how can you achieve optimal brain health? Let me go through the interventions of the ReCODE protocol right now. So this is what the book looks like. I suggest you read it. He has a subsequent book that talks about success stories, people who actually had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and had an improvement. So if you haven't read this book yet, it's time to check it out. And you may have a loved one that's having memory issues. This may be too dense a book for somebody with memory issues, but their partner should definitely read it. So I've been using this with clients now for a couple of years, maybe 3 years now. And I've seen dramatic improvement in people's memory. Also, I've seen people who had more advanced issues with memory plateau, so they were not declining. So this is such important information. Tell your friends and family about this book. So what are the concepts, the basic concepts? 7 concepts to keep your brain: nutrition, sleep, detoxification, exercise for the brain and body, stress reduction. And he includes as the 7th one that he calls the Bredesen 7, supplements. I feel like supplements are supplemental, especially if you're starting early. And so I would put in as the 7th concept, honestly, root cause resolution. And the root cause resolution is the primary reason that you would need a practitioner to help guide you on this. If you're starting early and you really have pretty good health, you can put these practices into play immediately. And understanding that root cause resolution is what we do in functional medicine. In functional medicine, we try and figure out what are the triggers that you may have been exposed to, or what are the infections you may be exposed to, what are the toxins, and we try and help your body resolve those. That's what functional medicine is. It's trying to get the terrain of your body, mind, and soul balanced and able to take in the stressors, deal with them, and stay in balance. But these are the basic concepts, and I'm going to go through them briefly, how you can do them. And this short introductory video is part of a larger course that lets you take these concepts and put them into play in your own life. So take care of your body. It is the only place that you have to live. I think this is Jim Rohn in all his wisdom is so true. We need to remember that whatever we do to our body now, later on, we're going to reap either the goodness or the not so goodness, depending on what you decide to think, eat, do, right? So first off, the nutrition piece of it. In general, the nutrition that's suggested during this program is called KetoFlex 12-3. So with the KetoFlex 12-3, you're basically trying to get into a little bit of ketosis during the time that you're fasting. So the 12 stands for at least 12-hour window of fasting. That means overnight, right? And then maybe you can wait a little bit on breakfast, so you have at least 12 hours of fasting. The reason that this is suggested is that if we can get into a little bit of ketosis, ketone bodies are healing for the brain. And the 12-3, the 3 part of that is that you do not eat for at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. And what does the food look like? Generally speaking, we're going low carb. So this is low in, of course, we're not going to be eating sugar for our brains. So that can be a stumbling block for some. So low sugar, low processed foods. We're eating the outside of the grocery store, lots of colorful vegetables. And the color is actually important because with every different color comes different kinds of phytonutrients that can help activate good genes in your body. That's what we want to do, turn on the good genes. So we're eating around the outside of the grocery store, clean, organic if possible, because in fact, it turns out that when you eat conventionally grown fruits and vegetables, you're getting a lot of extra in the terms of pesticides, and pesticides can actually damage your microbiome because it creates a change in their pathways that make it so that they will have sustained damage, and then your health will suffer because we need a healthy microbiome in order to have our body work. So eating organic outside of the grocery aisles, not in the center, away from the processed foods, and eating low grain, low processed food, low sugar. So those are the basic ideas there. I find that most people struggle with getting enough food. Once you go on this style of eating, what happens is you're less hungry, interestingly. Oh, and lots of healthy fats. It's so important. Lots of healthy fats. So healthy fats, the primary ones I think of are organic extra virgin olive oil. And I use a lot of avocado oil for cooking. Extra virgin olive oil really shouldn't be heated up because it will change into something that's not as good for you if you heat it up, okay? Also cooking at low heat is important so that we're not doing much charring. The charred stuff on food is not good for you and can cause cancer. I hate that for all you grillers out there. This is the basics of the 12-3 KetoFlex protocol that's suggested for us to try and optimize our brain health. Now, the next thing is exercising the brain, actually brain training, literally brain training. Now there's really nice research showing that this may have very large benefits for your brain long term. So you might not in the moment notice a shift, but what they found is in looking at people who have done like 20 hours of brain training at one point in their lives, it makes a difference in 20 years. So this is important that we start to stimulate our brain. And I have to say, these days we use smartphones, some smart tablets, all these things that minimize the use of our brain. Who remembers a phone number anymore? Nobody, right? So we don't make ourselves do that memory thing as much. And when we are not actively using our brain, we start to have loss of the ability to do those things we used to do easily. So this is why training your brain, whether it's Brain HQ, it's an app that you can use, and that is what Dale Bredesen suggests on the ReCODE Protocol. And if you do, the ReCODE Protocol, they have a website where you can go and join the website and you'll get like a deal on Brain HQ. Lumosity is good. There are several different brain training apps. If you don't like an app, you can do it other ways. The advantage to an app is that it can train multiple different parts of your brain, okay? And also it can see where you are in terms of your brain, which is important when we think about measuring whether or not we're getting better. If you don't know how your brain's doing right now, it's very subjective, like, I have brain fog, I don't feel quite right. Well, if you take a test called a cognoscopy, which can be done through like Brain HQ or through the ReCODE website, they'll give you a free cognoscopy where they will check the different parts of your brain, and you'll be able to see, oh, I'm not so great in that area. And then certain apps like Brain HQ will train specifically to increase in your areas where you're having problems. And this is important because we probably all have blind spots in terms of what we can and can't do, right? If you haven't done math in a long time, how do you know if your computational ability is still there? If you're not writing, term papers or things like this, or if you're not writing a blog post, how do you know whether or not your word finding ability has suffered? This will help you in lots of different ways, because then you'll see, where am I right now? Okay, so having a cognoscopy is important. And then exercising the brain in some way. I believe variety is good. Music is also an amazing way to exercise the brain. Playing an instrument, sight singing, being in a choir, all of these use multiple parts of the brain. That's why music is so awesome, right? But there are many different ways that you can exercise the brain. It is critical if you want to keep it long-term, right? So staying active, trying to use as much as possible. Okay, next one, actively reducing stress, right? Stress management, not just to get to a place where, oh, I don't feel very stressed. But in fact, if you want the most out of this, we must find a way to incorporate active stress reduction so we take it better than just okay. Meditation, breath work, these kind of things, especially if you're at the beginning, like if you have a bit of what I call post-it-note syndrome, or you have a hard time focusing. Focus challenges. That means that your brain is not working as well as you want it to. And we know that meditation improves focus. Meditation and getting your brain waves down into a relaxed state will help you cognitively for the long term. And so creating some kind of meditation habit is very important. Everybody who's young, the sooner you start to do this, the better. And managing stress actively is very important. I think that, but there's a lot of different ways you can do that. And in our course, we'll go through the different ways, right? So if you're going to take this course, that's great. I'm proud of you. Exercise the body. This is probably, if I could put this in a pill, I'd save all y'all, right? But you can't put it in a pill. So exercising the body is a critical part of brain health. I tell my clients that this equals this. And if you can incorporate regular exercise, y'all, you don't have to kill yourselves. You don't have to do a lot of exercise, even just a little. Going from couch potato to walk is probably the biggest benefit. The biggest leap you can possibly take. So anybody, if you're a couch potato, I'm telling you, you don't have to go dive into like a hour-long run. All you need to do is do a little bit of body weight exercises or a little bit of isometrics at home, and we start gradually. And so within this program, we'll talk about how you can get into movement. I like to speak of it as movement. Exercise for some people is like, oh, they don't want to exercise, but moving is okay. Because this might be dancing. This might be playing a sport that you used to play, that you forgot how much you love playing basketball, right? So exercising the body in multiple different ways, man. We need cardio, we need strength, we need flexibility. All of these components are very important for you to have a body that's working well. Because when we look into our 80s, what do you want to do when you are in your 80s? How are you going to show up? Do you want to be able to toss your grandkids in the air? Do you want to be able to take a jog? Those sorts of things we need to plan ahead, because right now, wherever you are now, in order for you to do those things when you get older, most of us don't plan ahead and realize we need more strength now, because jogging when you're in your 80s is like a feat. It's really a feat. And if you are planning ahead and thinking, okay, what kind of strength do I need to build now in my brain and body, so that when I'm in my 80s, I'm still active, I'm still working, I'm still engaged, I'm having fun, I'm playing sports, I'm skiing. I really like to still be skiing when I'm 80, right? But I have to plan now because I know as a woman in my 50s that I'm going to start losing muscle mass if I don't actively keep the muscle mass. And remember, muscle equals brain. So in this course, we're going to talk about how you can work exercise into your life, right? It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it's critical for the full function of your brain. We know exercise does a lot of things too. Exercise will improve your focus. It will improve your energy. It will reduce stress. It will improve your mood. In fact, it's been shown to be as good as an antidepressant for people who are depressed. I'm not saying don't take your antidepressants, but what I'm saying is it's powerful. It is more powerful than medications. So sleeping, this is something everyone strives for. I hope you're striving to sleep well. And within the ReCODE protocol, getting you sleeping is critical because that's when our brain cleans out of toxins. You actually have a change in the blood flow in your brain at night as you go into deep sleep that starts to flush out the brain tissue. And that's why sleeping is so important. And if you don't sleep well, you are more likely to have dementia, have obviously lower energy, and have your brain not working as well. It's so important. 7 to 8 hours a night is optimal. Less than 6, and you will have less longevity. You're going to die earlier if you're not getting at least 6 hours of sleep. It's really important on so many levels. So we'll talk about how you can sleep well. One of my courses is a 30-day sleep course that those of you who are in Energy for Life, you're welcome to take that sleep course, see if we can get you sleeping better. And that this is all part of the Energy for Life membership that you are able to access if you're a LifeWave customer of mine or of one of my brand partners. Detoxification. They never talked about detoxification when I was in medical school. It just wasn't a thing. I mean, I guess we talked about what the liver does, but we sure didn't talk about how you can actually help remove toxins from the body, and how to, what naturopaths like to say, open the drainage, like opening the drainage. And that is our gut helps us get out toxins. And that's why I call constipation the only functional medicine emergency. And it's critical that we correct gut issues, especially constipation and all the other issues. The symptoms you have in your gut, that represents something not working right. And that needs to be fixed for you to have optimal detoxification. Also, we look at systems in the body that help with detoxification, that's your liver and your kidneys. And within the realm of the ReCODE protocol, detoxification also addresses things like if you've been exposed to mold. I've seen mold cause a lot of issues in how people's brain works, and how do you get that out of the body? That might be something that you need to be involved with a practitioner to understand. There's one of the courses within the Energy for Life talks about how to get mold out of the body. So if you're curious, that you might be interested in doing the Energy for Life. But detoxification is critical. In general, spoiler alert, binders can be very helpful. We are all exposed to many toxins that we have no idea about. They're coming from the food, air, and water. Okay, those are basically the ways you get toxins in: food, air, and water. The other source of toxins can be our infectious burden. We all have organisms living in and among us. Sometimes they're good players, sometimes they're not so good players, and they can create toxins. Toxins can even come from our gut microbiome when it is leaky. Our gut microbiome making endotoxins that is one of the biggest things that can make us sick. That's why we want to get the gut healed. So detoxification, and how do we do that, is very important. And in general, we think of opening those drainage systems, making sure people are not constipated, and using some binders that will gradually pull toxins out. It's kind of like opening the faucet slowly so that you will, rather than recirculate those toxins, which is what can happen when you're constipated, you can get things out of your body that are not serving you. And now that we understand that many neurodegenerative diseases are associated with low-lying infections, with toxins, it's really important that this is addressed. And this is something also, it may be easier to be with a ReCODE coach or a physician who does the ReCODE protocol. The next one is root cause resolution. You know, I guess he doesn't call it this in the book. Well, maybe he does, but this is trying to figure out what are the triggers, and is there something reversible, right? Could you have Lyme disease? Could you have a mold exposure? Is there a virus? Is there something contributing? Interestingly, right now there's a study looking at the use of antivirals because possibly people with cold sores and herpes simplex may have, who are treated with antivirals, may have a reduction in their risk of dementia. And so right now there's a trial that's being done looking at whether or not that can reduce people's risk of dementia. So there, root cause resolution requires probably somebody to guide you, at least so you'll know where to look, and trying to get rid of whatever is causing the issue. Sometimes memory loss can be as simple as a vitamin deficiency. And I've seen that happen. Somebody who was very deficient in B vitamins, and when they started to take B vitamins, it's like their brain got turned on. So we want to make sure correct deficiencies, make sure you're getting all the nutritional building blocks that you need for repair, turning on repair as much as possible. And so here they are on a single slide: nutrition, detoxification, sleep, exercising the brain and body, reduce your stress, root cause resolution, and then supplements. Supplements are supplemented. Within the ReCODE protocol, they do suggest a large battery of lab tests, and ReCODE will actually do those lab tests for you. You can pay them a certain amount where you have access to cognoscopies. They will, like in some places, they'll even send a runner to get your labs. The Brain HQ, and all of the materials from Apollo Health, which is the ReCODE site. And so the supplements are based on what they find in the labs, right? They'll go through multiple different labs and we're trying to get optimal, not just trying to get within the normal range. And that's a big difference between optimizing and you're okay, which unfortunately in conventional medicine, the lab tests that are ordered in conventional medicine, they recognize disease after it's present. They don't get the before shot. They don't get in the red flags. And I consider post-it note syndrome, low energy, I'm not feeling good, and I have normal labs. Those are all red flags, right? Red flags for there's something that needs to be done. And, if you understand these concepts and, by checking out that book, I think that you're going to find this will be very helpful for your long-term brain health. And as I mentioned, right now, if you want to, go do a course on this, do a virtually free course. The reason I say virtually free is because, right, the price of admission to my new membership site that all of you guys can come on is just to use LifeWave patches, which are the phototherapy patches that I feel like make everything get better faster because of the powerful things that they do. Let me just share with you what this website is going to look like. This goes live December 1st. It's the Energy for Life Anti-Aging Holistic Healing Membership. And so these are courses that I've done that you can take for anybody who is one of my regular customers or any of my brand partners, my team's customers. They can take these courses. SIRS and mold illness healing, right? Memory and brain boosting. You're in part of that right now. Anti-aging skincare, gut renewals. There's a sleep course, pain-free living course, weight relief. So there's a lot of courses. There's a full functional medicine body reset. So if you're looking for functional medicine, this is a great way to dive into it. And I'm going to be going live weekly within this in a private Facebook group, and can answer your questions. We'll talk about how do you do the thing, and how can you really change your life. And you know, I understand that changing habits is difficult, and it's much easier with a buddy. That's what I'm trying to do, provide you the information, and then I'm going to be your doctor friend that you can sideline while you go through courses. This is kind of my life's work, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. And if you want to find out more, you can send me an email at in the description below. You'll find my email, clinic@feelgoodfunctionalmed.com, and I can give you more information. Put Energy for Life in the subject line, so I'll know it's you, because I do get a heck of a lot of emails. And if you are watching this and you are on my wait list, this is a way to engage me, right? You can engage me, and you will get some personalized attention with this. It's not quite the same as spending an hour one-on-one with me. However, you will be able to message me and also take part in that weekly Q&A. So if you are thinking about it, why be on the fence? Jump right in, send me an email. Also, my link to purchase the lightweight patches is below. The very minimum I suggest people do is auto ship on X39, because the X39, you can watch any of my videos, is like the powerhouse of that suite of products. And when I started to use it, it really changed my health so dramatically. So I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully in the Energy for Life. And this is the sort of content that you'll get. This is the introduction to the brain and memory course. And each of the different modules will go through in depth how you can implement them in your lives. All right, you guys, have an awesome day.